Previously on HTML5 and CSS3. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Welcome back, folks. In the last video, you saw essentially how to apply styles to your page. There are three methods I showed you, either inline to the page itself, or in an external CSS file, and to link it to your pages. Well, we're back again. And this time, we're still on the subject of CSS, and I am going to introduce you to the topic of selectors. Now, when you have CSS over here, I showed you that you can apply styles to all H1s in the page or all paragraphs in the page. But here's the thing. What if I wanted to apply a style? Let's say I had 3 paragraphs over here, and I only wanted to apply a style to 2 of them. Let's say I have a 3rd paragraph over here. This is a continuation from our file just now, right? So this is the styling HTML page just now, and this too is a paragraph. Okay, so now here's the thing. I want to apply a style to only the first 2 paragraphs. This is what it's looking like right now. So the paragraphs are essentially all, oops, sorry, excuse me. Let me refresh that. So all 3 paragraphs have gotten the same style, as you can see over here. All paragraphs have the same style. So how can I apply a style that's only to specific paragraphs? Here's how you do it. Instead of applying a style to all paragraphs, as the rule says over here, I'm going to change it into a class. Now, a class basically is just a name for a style. So for example, if I wanted to call this style some style, you can call it whatever you like. It's just a name, and you mark it as a class name by putting a dot in front of it. Just by saying dot some style, now this is a style, a class style. So how do I apply that class to my page over here? Let's say I want to apply this to only 2 paragraphs over here. So I simply just say, for this paragraph over here, I say class equals, and then I say some style. Okay, notice there's no dot in front of it. You only apply the dot when you're specifying it, the style, the name of the class, inside your CSS file. But once you apply it, you don't have to put the dot there anymore. So I can apply this class over to here and also to here. Some style. There you go. And just by doing that, watch this, I'm going to refresh the page, and ta-da! Only 2 of the paragraphs are affected. The paragraph in the middle is still normal. There you go. So that's basically the whole idea behind selectors. So in this video, I'm going to introduce you to some selectors. You just saw how to put a selector on a class. So we basically put a dot. You can also have a selector that's unique only for one particular tag or element. And let's say a tag has an ID of some sort. Well, in CSS, when you want to specify an ID, you put a hash over there. And let's say it's called the specific tag. Okay, now specific basically means when you put a hash in front there, that means it's specific for just one particular tag with an ID called specific. And let's say for this specific tag, I'm going to say that the background is, let's say, yellow. Yeah, we'll just make it yellow for now. Okay. Okay. So how do I apply this style? I'm gonna just keep to this page right here, and let's say I have a div. What the heck is a div, Tiki? Well, this is another new tag I'm introducing you to. This tag is essentially used for containing things. Think of it as like a little box, if you will, and you can put things in there. Like, for example, you can put images, you can put words. This is a div, just like that, and you can actually it's a way of grouping all your content together. I'll show you better examples as we go along. But this is my div over here, and there you go. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's nothing more. It's kind of behaving the same as a paragraph right now, but there are a few things you can do with it. I'll come to that in more detail in just a moment. So anyway, there's your div, and I want to apply this style over here, this specific style over here, to this div. So when you put a hash there, hash means ID, okay? And you say the ID is, what did I say the ID was? Oh, there you go, specific. So I just say ID equals specific, just like that. Now you might be thinking, okay, Tiki, it's pretty much the same as a class, but here's the difference. Oh, there's your background being yellow right there. Now here's the difference. An ID is unique. That means on any one page, you cannot have more than 2 tags with the same ID. Why, Tiki? What if I put an ID over here with specific? What happens then? Well, here's the first thing that happens. Okay, yes, you'll have both tags showing yellow backgrounds, but that's not the problem. The problem comes in later on when we introduce you to JavaScript. So, in JavaScript, a tag must have a unique ID. This is illegal. And when we start learning about JavaScript in the next set of lessons, you'll find that this will cause problems. So do not ever have 2 tags with the same ID. I'll just leave it at that for now, and I'll come back to it later on. So that's essentially a difference between class and ID. Class basically means you put a, sorry, excuse me, wrong button. You put a dot in front of it, and ID means you put a hash in front of it. That's how you specify things like that. Also, you can actually specify more than one type of tag at the same time. So let's say, for example, I want to apply that yellow background to all paragraphs as well as all divs and H1s. How do I do that? Well, you can, oh, I don't know why I keep pressing that. What you could do is basically do something like this. You could say that this is for any tag that has the ID of specific, comma, it's for all H1s, comma, and it has it's for all paragraphs. So basically you can list down a whole series of selectors that this style should apply to. So I can put a comma in between them. And here's what I get. Ta-da! Everything has a yellow background at this point. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that away. You know what? I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. Now here's another thing that you should know. If I have a tag that is nested, like for example, if I have a div, and inside the div I have another div. Let's say, for example, okay, so I have a div, and inside that div I have another div. This is inside. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to specifically target this div right here. In fact, I'm going to put a paragraph in there just to make it even more obvious. Just like that. Okay, so I have a paragraph that's inside a div, that's inside a div. I want to target a style specifically for that paragraph. So what I can do is basically this. I want to have basically a div, space, and there's a div inside of that, space, and there's a paragraph inside of that. And inside there, this style will apply. So I can say for this particular div, I'm going to say, let's say, the text decoration has an underline. Something we learned before. I can place a line on that paragraph right there. And I'm referring to this paragraph. This is inside, yeah? So save it, refresh the page, and ta-da! As you can see, there's an underline over there. So this is just to give you an example of how you can target using selectors. Now, what other ways can we target, Tiki? Well, you can also do this. Selectors allow you to use the new CSS3 style of selecting. In other words, you could do something like this. Let's say, for example, I have Oh, I don't know. Let's put an anchor tag over there. What is an anchor tag? Well, an anchor tag is basically a tag that allows you to put a link to something else. Like, for example, I'm just going to say this anchor tag says click me. And when I click on it, I'm going to go over to google.com. So I'm going to say href http://www.google.com. Okay, basically the URL for Google. And what I want to do is I'm going to save this first, and then I'm going to show you how you can target specific styles or specific attributes for it. So here we go. Let me refresh the page and let's just show you. That's my link over there, and if I click on it, watch this. And here's Google. Oh wow, the internet's really slow tonight. Either that or somebody's watching a movie in the house. Anyway, you can see it's there. You go. Took a little while, but here we are. So that's essentially how you create a hyperlink. Next up, now let's say, for example, I have two particular anchors. I'm going to copy that, paste that over there, and this one goes to, let's say, Yahoo, just like that. And I'll just change these words so I can say this is for Yahoo and this is for Google. There you go. Now let's say I want to put a style for just this tag but not this tag. Well, there are a few ways you could do it. Let's say, for example, this tag over here has an alt attribute, for example. What is alt? It's basically an alternative text if the link doesn't show up. This is usually used with images, so that way if the image hasn't loaded yet, it will show this alternative text. So link to Yahoo or something like that. And this one is, I'll say alt equals link to Google. So I'm just going to show you another way of targeting or selecting tags. So here in my style, I want to select, let's say, for example, this style is for all anchor tags, right? With the attribute, now see the square brackets over here means it's looking for an attribute. And I want to look for an attribute called alt. Okay, so that means this style applies to all anchor tags that have the attribute called alt. So I can say, all attributes. Let's say, for example, if you'll notice, give me a second, all links have this underline, right? I want to get rid of that underline. I really don't like it. So I'm going to say, text decoration none. I don't want the underline. It's irritating. So here we go. As you can see, it applies to both tags, Google and Yahoo. The underline has gone missing. Oh, hello. Why is it all in one line? Well, remember our first video? I said that HTML, essentially you have to be very specific with it. Anchor tags will display in line. So if I wanted to put it on the next line, I simply just say, after the first link, I say BR. Remember that? That was a line break. So line breaks basically cause my links to do this. Hey, look at that. Brilliant. Wonderful. Okay, so that's how you can apply a style to different links. But you might be also be thinking, Tiki, what if I have a whole bunch of anchor tags and I want to target only certain anchor tags? You can also do something like this. You can say, I'm looking for an anchor tag with an attribute called alt, and the attribute basically starts with, and you see that exponential symbol and the equal signs, and it says that basically means starts with. So if I say starts with, and then I can say link. Okay, starts with link. And you know what, just to show you that it's not showing you a cached page, I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to change it to orange. There you go. Ta-da! As you can see, because both both attributes, both alt attributes on both the anchors start with link. See, they start with the word link right there. So therefore, it's going to target both. But what if I want to apply the style only to this link over here? Since they both have almost the same value for the alt attribute, I only want to apply that style only to this Yahoo link. So I can say something like this. I can say, I'm looking for an anchor tag with the alt attribute that ends with, oops, sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that, ends with is a dollar symbol. Okay, I'm looking for an alt attribute with which ends with Yahoo. There you go. And just by doing that, now watch this, I'm going to refresh and pay attention to this area down here. Ta-da! The style is only applied to the second link, the one that has the attribute alt and ends with Yahoo. Okay, so let's say I had a whole bunch of other attributes, like for example I had an attribute called Tiki. What the heck is a Tiki attribute? Here's the thing, in HTML5 you can make up your own attributes. You can come up with your own attributes and you can give them your own meanings. So for example, I'm looking, let's say I want to apply another style. This is for only anchor tags that have the attribute alt and also the attribute called Tiki. Ha! That's it? Yep, that's it. So you can actually do that. So I can actually just say, for this one, I'm going to say the font weight. Here's another property for you, another CSS property. Font weight basically allows you to make the text bold, right? And there you go. Keep your eye on this Google link. Ta-da! As you can see, it's a lot bolder now. If you can't see that, I'm going to make it a little bit larger. There you go. So you can see it's a bit thicker than the regular text over here. So there you go. You now know a little bit more about CSS. You just saw how to apply a style to all tags of the same type. Or you can actually create a class and apply the class to only specific tags. You also just saw how to apply a tag to specific IDs or to a list of tags. You can also target specific tags that have a particular pattern, right? So in this case, I'm applying this style to a paragraph that's nested within a div, that's nested within a div over here. Or you can even specify specific attributes over here. Now there are other types of selectors which I will go into in more detail in an upcoming video. In fact, we'll just make that part 3 of CSS. I'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. Also, check out the links below. And if you'd like me to cover something else, please leave a comment down below.